Okay. Hey everybody, it's taking a bit of time for me to get here, but thank you for the patience. Let's see, we'll give it a couple more minutes. Hello there, cutie cat. What's going on? Welcome, welcome. And thank you for being here. That is excellent. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of information, so I have to try to cover everything. But it's going to be pretty interesting, I think. How are you today? Hope you are well. Welcome, welcome everyone. Yes, cutie cat maiden in the house. That's excellent. So now you see, I'm not behind the scenes now. Now I'm in front of the camera. Yeah. Scared yet? Good Lord. So how's the audio and video? Is that relatively okay? It could be better. John, what up? What's going on, man? How goes it? I should probably set up one more thing. Just because. Yes, we work on the fly here in this production. We do all kinds of things on the fly. Well, good. Well, I'm glad for that. That's good. There's a lot of... Hey, Michael. There's a lot of info. I'm going to go through a lot of info tonight. And I actually did some show prep. Oh, imagine that. I did some extra show prep, actually. So there's a lot happening. Driving home at the moment. No worries. No worries, man. You want to drive safely or speed safely. Well, I'm glad you popped in. Wow. Woo, look, what a difference a little lighting makes, right? I should have changed mounts. I did have some technical difficulties as well. Unfortunately, we had right? He's like, what? Scared now? All right, let's see if this works. Well, I think actually it worked better. Fantastic. Yes. So now, as you see, cutie cat, now Ariel's in the background. She's the one that's doing the typing and stuff. She is an excellent producer, big help. So it's very nice to see you here. And it's a pleasure seeing everyone here tonight. Yes. Now, where is everybody? I know Michael's in Minnesota. Cutie cat, where are you on the planet? On a deserted island somewhere. Getting fed grapes from savages. Oh, you're in New York. Oh, very cool. Of course, I know John's in Florida. And you're in New York. Well, there you go. Fellow East Coaster. Marvelous. And of course, in the Amazing News of Minnesota department, big Super Bowl. The Pats versus the Eagles. Yes. So that's going to be very interesting. yeah, I hear it's a big deal over in Minnesota. A lot of East Coasters in Minnesota right now. Big Grammys yesterday was awesome. I have not. This is the crazy thing. I actually, fun fact, I always have, my TV is always on kind of in the background. But I rarely am actually watching it. It's just kind of like in the background. So yeah, I did see little pieces, parts that came on the news. The Me Too movement. A lot of incredible actors stepped up and spoke up. So I want to give my support to anyone that uses their voice, uses the puppy bowl, uses their abilities, their voice, social media, whatever it may be, to promote social activism for us to make things to change. Yes, I also go to sleep to the sound of TV. And that sometimes can affect your dreaming. There are many times I've been hunting down zombies and sci-fi stuff because the TV was on the sci-fi channel. So yeah, it's a thing. The struggle is real. So yeah, for sure. But yes, I didn't catch at the Grammys, but I did catch the highlights of people stepping up, and Me Too movement, and it's time's up. Hey, Shelly, welcome, welcome, welcome. And also the fact of people making people accountable for what they're doing, and I think that is also incredibly amazing. Also, if you've looked at my social media, a lot of things have been being shared. Everything from animals and seahorses helping conserve the environment. With conservation, with dragging a Q-tip, that was kind of crazy. Yes, the month of love. But also too, there's been some bullying posts that I put up that were a little aggravating. They were a little aggravating and annoying, but it had to be shared. It was something that we need to put out there because bullying is not acceptable. So no different than Time's Up with that. Time's Up also too with the whole bullying thing. We have no need for that. The world is enough chaos as is. We're in enough of it's enough craziness. We need to stop. We need to just stop all of that. So it's really important. We just gotta continue doing something better, being better, shining brightly, using our voices to actually improve the world. So that's really the important thing. We need to stop this negative thing. Well, it is. It's true. It is unacceptable because of more than one thing. You have children that are committing suicide. You have people that not only, and I have not broached the topic fully on that, but I will be. But I have to give the proper attention to bring up bullying. But that will come up. Also, don't be surprised coming up as well. There probably will be a show, almost guaranteed there will be a show on body positivity and also, so bullying, body positivity, and there's a few other topics that do need addressing. So there will be quite a few topics of engagement that we need to talk about. We need to put it out there. Really, really important. Because if we don't put it out there, then they go unheard. And you've heard the term, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Well, we need to be more squeaky wheels. We need to speak up more. We need to say what's on our minds. We need to make people accountable for their actions, for their words too. Because I will tell you, it's not easy. I try my damnedest myself to watch over what I say and what I think And it's a big responsibility. Sometimes you're better off not saying anything if it's going to be negative, right? So if you look at it from that perspective, sometimes it's you just want to stick with as much positivity as possible. And if you do need to speak harshly about something, have the facts. Be able to speak, strongly, but without stooping to that level, because that seems to be what's happening in the world today. Is people stoop to that level. I see it on both sides. Well, there's such and such a blah, 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 blah. Look what he said, blah, blah, blah. And then you have the other people that are saying those people are just blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And this is just me not getting into details with that because we don't want to be talking about that topic at the moment. So we're going to start off. We're going to start the show in a couple of minutes, and we've got a lot to cover. Hear all that? That's called printed, serious, pre-show stuff. I couldn't remember everything this time. So there is a lot to cover. So, yeah. John, you're a smart boy. Let me tell you. So this is why I don't really get into politics or anything like that. It's kind of sad to think that nowadays, previously, I would be a little concerned about talking about sex and politics. But now, I'd rather talk about sex. Sex and religion. Sorry, not politics. Prior to, politics was a safe way to go because it wasn't that heated, right? But nowadays, I'd rather talk about sex and religion. Seriously, I'd rather just talk about sex and religion all day long. One of them is fun. The other one is very organized, and I'll leave it at that. Also, too, if you do have a request, my trusty producer is putting up there. If you have a request or a suggestion for a topic in the show, if you feel that I can put it out there, because if I'm loud enough, aggressive enough, and I go ahead and go in as bear, wolf, and eagle, and all those badass, also ant. Ant is also badass. If you find a topic that you want to bring out there, put out there, and you may not want to put it out there, but you don't mind throwing it at me, I will be glad to. If I sign on to it, if I believe in it, if I'm there, if it's positive, if it's going to change the world in a good way, send it over. Because I'll definitely do that. Also coming up, you never know, there's got to be some new things coming around the bend as far as other topics in the show. No different than just imagine. I may end up doing a cooking show. I may end up doing some movie critiques. You never know what's going to happen here in Insight with Moonshadow. So be afraid, very afraid. In a world. Yeah, it is great, especially because you're in the background. You can type up. Everything is good. Yeah. So, there is no topic that's really not broached here other than, you don't have Facebook. Okay, well, great thing, the new Dr. Ruth. Actually, I do an imitation of Dr. Ruth. You guys want to hear it? This would definitely be part of the blooper reel, so I'm kind of scared that I even said that. But it's okay. I don't care about being foolish. It's pre-show anyway. So yeah. Yeah, I just lost people. They're like, what? Dr. Ruth, what? Ah! They're out. Yeah, the Dr. Ruth would be like, do you have good sex? You too can have good sex. Yes. Orgasms are wonderful. Yes. I am Dr. Ruth Westheimer, and you are on the air. Yeah, but also, too, you can put suggestions in the comments. Why, thank you. Thank you. She was, you know what? I will tell you, Shelly, she was amazing. I loved Dr. Ruth. She was badass at like 4'1". She was this tiny woman, but she was amazing. She was a modern, liberated. She didn't speak down to anyone. She was amazing. Absolutely. And also, too, now I've graduated finally to using a lot more of my social media. Snapchat I have not used fully or started to, but I will be. However, you could connect with my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr. You could see a lot of that stuff. There's a lot of revamping going to be happening on my website as well. And there's a lot of stuff coming up. Also, too, Inside the Moonshadow merch coming up as well. T-shirts, hoodies. I'm still looking at trying to figure out hats, coffee mugs. Believe it or not, you can even get a onesie. So anyone with a little baby, if you want to say, hey, my offspring watches Inside with Moonshadow, you can get a onesie too. So it's kind of cool. Now, the best bet about all of this stuff, the big bonus, big, huge cherry on top of this cake, is the fact that a percentage of the proceeds from as soon as we launch, the percentage of the proceeds are going to a charity. I'm not sure which charities yet. It might be multiple charities, but by default, from the first sale, from the first item, it's already giving back. It's already going for the good. How about adult onesies? Well, kitty cat, you know what? I will take that as a suggestion. I know it's a thing. I'm more of a naturalist, but I will look into that. We will write that on the list. Adult onesies. That would be very, very cool. So that'd be pretty awesome. I think that'd be neat. And it's all about being creative. So if any of you have an idea, feel free, suggest anything like that. Also, if you know anyone that could benefit from, having a good conversation, having a laugh, learning new things, feel free to just send them over. Have them subscribe. Have them hit the notification bell. And also, too, if you do follow me on Instagram, they have this new algorithm now where you don't get all the posts. So you have to post notifications. You have to hit that push notifications thing so you can get all the posts. If you don't have Facebook, that's totally okay. And when I post, I usually post Instagram. Nowadays, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and soon Snapchat, probably, once I sort out the Snapchat deal. So please do subscribe. Also, too, with YouTube, they've changed things with the monetization. So we are on a race. We are on a race to get to 1,000 subscribers. Anyone that has subscribed recently, thank you so much. Much love to you. Mwah! You are awesome. Every little bit counts. Every subscriber matters. Even if I had 1 million subscribers, every subscriber matters. So it really makes a difference. Why the hat? 'Cause. Why mascara? Why makeup? Why glasses? There are many facets. So yes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start the show. Now, you guys ready? You guys got popcorn? You guys have a drink? You guys have a tea? Hanging out? I know Shelly's cooking. Also, before I start the show, Shelly, what are you cooking? I'm curious. What's Shelly cooking? We all want to know. I'm waiting on you. Shelly's cooking. Ah, see? There you go. A Mondo salad. Cool. Well, see, I'm not blind. Without glasses, I can still see. However, I can't see far. But I'm a guy that's in the present anyway. I think, in the present. So my zenness does not get in the way of me seeing far, but glasses help for me to see further out there. But see, interesting though, I've got a really good third eye though. My third eye can see before these glasses, before this face, before these eyes see. This third eye sees everything first. It's a 20/20 vision third eye. It's no joke. Yes. So, let's start this puppy going. Oh, and it's almost 21 minutes, by the way. Welcome to Inside the Moonshadow. I'm Moonshadow, an integrative holistic therapist, CHI-vangelist, global citizen, and overall earthy, crunchy guy, liking surreal, weird things, talking to people, having coffee, and ingesting probably more sugar than I should. Yeah, the struggle is real. But today's show is a it's a really, really, really good show. Why, you ask? Well, on the 31st, we have this big, badass supermoon coming up. It's not only a supermoon, it's a blood moon. It's not only a blood moon, there's a lunar eclipse. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my! We're talking serious. We're talking no joke, serious supermoon. Now, if you haven't done much in the past supermoons before, you have the opportunity to do it now. And it's big. And talk about major powerful juju as well, which is just incredible energy. Now, some people, I've already spoken to a few people that have felt the effects of the supermoon already, where they're feeling a little more emotional, they're feeling a little more outgoing, they're feeling a little more spunky. There's a reason for that. So now the first one, now the last blue moon we had was in 2015, right? I think it was before that. See, as an empath, of course, right? So, but this year we have had two, one in January and the other one will be in March, right? So now, with this eclipse, the eclipse is going to be at 6:48 Eastern Standard Time or 3:48 Pacific. Okay, so it's going to begin probably around 7:52 a.m. or 4:52 a.m. Pacific, and the eclipse will be probably done around 10 o'clock in the morning. That's right, Blue Moon and birthday month. You better do some work. Work it. Work. No, you two, don't flag me on that. It's just 2 seconds. Anyway, you never know. But now the best views for people will be in the northern part of North America's west coast, as well as China, Japan, and most of Australia. So all you Inside with Moonshadow peeps internationally, you can check that out. Okay, so in the western part of South America, North America, India, Eurasia, will also get to see part eclipse. While sky watchers, of course, in large swaths of Africa, my people. That's right, I'm African. So are you. You're African too. We all came from there. We're all African. Sorry, not sorry. We're all tribal. Seriously. Look it up. Mitochondrial Eve. And I'll drop the mic on that. Also, too, I will get links up because, of course, my trusted producer will make sure there'll be links to the site so you can watch it live online. If you're in an area where you won't be able to visualize it and check it out. And the next total lunar eclipse will arrive on July 27th and will be visible from Asia, Australia, Africa, Europe, South America, but will no longer be blue. It will not be a blue blood supermoon. So there you go. So now that we get the scientific aspect out of the way, and that's important for all you geeks and nerds, and it's important because I firmly believe that when you embrace anything with juju, anything magical, you should embrace the physical qualities, the scientific qualities, as well as the metaphysical properties. All of them. So no different. Like you see me carrying a bear claw. This is a physical bear claw. This is a black bear. Also, too, there's the metaphysical qualities of bear as well. One of my major totems is bear, so that's also part of it. So if you look at it from that perspective, it's not just the metaphysical stuff that you should look at or the spiritual stuff. There is some very, very valuable information in the scientific and the physical as well. So if you're studying, like, say, for example, a totem, study everything about that totem. If it's a particular totem animal, study their habits, because that will also teach you many things. For example, like bear, just in a quick. Like with bears are usually omnivores. They will go vegetarian if need be. They will do whatever they need to do to survive as far as food. So that being the case, this is what they do physically. Now, shifting this to metaphysical properties is the fact that bear also is adaptable. For sure, right? So this is a big part of it as well. So look at more than, kind of engage in a way where you see all possible angles. And if you do that, then you're going to get the most out of any given situation. That's when you learn fully from every dynamic. So that was really, really cool stuff. So now the eclipse will be in the sign of Leo. And of course, Leo is all about beauty. It's all about passion and beauty. And Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius are fire signs. So they're all about beauty. They're all about wanting to make things better from a visual perspective. So if you happen to be a Leo, you're going to find yourself lighting pretty shiny things. You're going to visually be connected. You're going to be visually, so what I'm looking for, you're going to be more visual than auditory or anything like that. So Libra. Okay. Most excellent. And Libra is, believe it or not, very indecisive. Sorry, not sorry. I know a few Libras. They're always kind of weighing things out. Again, this is a typical aspect of Libra. They have to kind of balance things out, figure things out. Libras are very good judges. I mean, physical judges. They also can judge character, but I'm saying they're physical. They like to weigh both aspects to a situation before they render their opinion. So if you don't mind sitting in a restaurant for a while, I tend to have this tactic as well and this attribute. Yes, Libras overthink, but also too, Libras have a very good, very difficult time being in a restaurant deciding food. Unless it's something they really absolutely love all the time. Because Libras can also be creatures of habits. Just a little bit on Libra. So now this energy will be have more motherly energy to it. Okay, so Grandmother Moon, yes, Ariel's a very big worrier. She's a warrior too, but she's a warrior, or a worrying warrior. Or worrying warrioress. Something like that. I myself, I like to view all the aspects before coming to a conclusion. And usually there's no stone unturned. before I get into what I see as gospel or what I see as truth, right? So yeah, so also too, coming up with this super huge blue blood moon, it's got to be really good for organizing, decluttering, purging. Yeah, I gotta do some of that too. But that's also going to be really, really good. So now, don't be surprised if you find your friends being a little more snarky, a little bit more mouthy, a little bit more sarcastic. It could bring out your inner De Niro. So it could be, actually, it's kind of a pretty good De Niro to look anyway. I don't know. I have to work on my De Niro, I guess. But of course, of course, the sarcasm and mouthiness may happen. Also, be careful about communications, because whenever people get a little more emotional, Joe Pesci. Okay. Joe Pesci is pretty funny too. But so, also in that regard, in looking at it, it's going to bring you a lot of emotional state, a lot of big things, because not only is it an eclipse and a super moon and a blood moon and a blue moon, it's like all this crazy energy going on. Now, we are made of like 98% water, so we're going to get affected. Later, cutie cat. Great seeing you. Come back again soon. Don't be a stranger. Talk to you soon. So now, so don't be surprised if, grounding is really, really important for the next few days. Also, too, now, a lot of times, too, the effects of moons last sometimes well over a month. Even though you have your full moon, that happens, and it's over a course of 3 days. Sometimes with a super moon, with a major thing, it could last much longer, the effects, the ripple effects of that. So it's something for you to be watchful over and careful over. So if you are uncharacteristically you, or more you than you'd like to share, that could be because you are feeling the effects of this super blood blue moon. It's pretty balls. It's pretty amazeballs here. So now, also too, now this particular moon is going to be opposite Venus. So this may bring a lot of instigations or potential discussions between loved ones, significant others, and also caring people. Also, people that are protective may actually be more protective, or they may even become even more so than usual. So it's something to really, really think about. And also be careful. You might feel a little more randy too with the supermoon, because with all this energy, brings up emotion, and of course we have so many different types of emotions, and one of the emotions is love and lust. So be aware that you may also be triggered in a lustful way or a passionate way, or if you have something, or if you're passionate about a certain hobby or a habit, you may find yourself wanting to do it more. There may be a level of a little more OCD-ness. Yes, I think I just made up a word. Or a little more toward the tendencies of pushing things a little further than usual. Shelley. TMI, Shelley. TMI. But I love it. Hey, Anna, welcome. So, yeah, so you know, this whole supermoon thing might be good for many different reasons. It may be good for, love. It may be good for a lot of things. But also, too, it's important of... James, what up, man? What up? Hey, Tori. Welcome. Big hugs and kisses to both across the pond. Mwah! James and Tori from over in the UK. Always good to see you. I'm hoping you guys will check out this incredible this super blood blue moon that's coming up on the 31st. And so that's what we're talking about today. So, now here we go. Now this is interesting now. So now lunar eclipses, this brings out a lot of your primal self, right? So now if you really think about it, okay, for all you women out there, this will make your moon cycle crazy. So just be aware of that. You might be a little extra moodier than usual, so be aware. Also, purging and cleansing of things, yeah, it's not the greatest aspect of things. Yeah, it's like great. So don't be surprised if it's a little more intense. You may end up with more and more cramps. I'm sorry. I really am. You may find yourself with intensified what you normally feel. You may end up being more emotional and more with this energy coming up. And again, this isn't even the full boat of it. This isn't even the big deal. This isn't like the big peak of it. It's going to happen on the 31st. So be afraid. Be very afraid. No, it's actually good. It's all good if you know how you handle it. And this is why all of you are here. So fantastic. That's the way I look at it. So now, okay, what we have here is also too is an ending of the winter. See, the Mother Earth is starting to change. Gaia is starting to change moods, right? So even though we're still in winter, it's still cold, but there is a new resurgence of things. She's getting ready to change. Okay, and we're going to get to the pantheistic, more pagan vibe of this as well, coming up shortly. So, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if you're going to end up with a lot of different things going on, things coming out of from below the surface, things bubbling up that you haven't. One thing about this super blood moon as well, and this lunar eclipse, if you have things that you need to sort out, skeletons in your closet, stuff like this, guess what? That's coming up. So I'm a big fan of trying to get through things and try to sort through things the best you can. Don't hold on to a lot of these old thoughts, patterns, anything that's no longer working for you. This moon is a very, very powerful moon for you to release, purge, get rid of. This is not just purging your spare room. This could also be purging your inner self, doing an inner cleanse. You could be doing also potentially a cleanse of sorts. You could work on doing a lot of saging of yourself and your surroundings. You could look into your own inner self and free up all the inner junk, the emotional junk, the karmic junk. So all those things that are not working for you, this is a perfect moon to mindfully go in and say, look, I'm done with this stuff. This stuff no longer works for me. I'm getting rid of it. So that is a big, big motivator and an initiator. So it's going to be a big fresh start. So now you notice, now this is in the new year, of course, 2018. We're in January. So this just extends the fact that you too can have a new year, new you, new things, new work. Also, this is also very good for shadow work too. So full moons, for me personally, I use full moons to bring in and to banish, to bring in and to purge, to absorb or to accept, to manifest, as well as get rid of. So you could do both in this really incredibly powerful event. So that's also very, very important as well. Now, the effect of a lunar eclipse, mind you, can last up to 3 months because it's such a big event, especially now, This could be you being sad, or your moods can be a little squirrely and weird, but on the good note, it's going to be a time of cleansing. This is going to be a time of you getting rid of a lot of the old stuff. And little moon sight for you guys. Whether you like it or not, whether you're active with it or not, Grandmother has a way. Grandmother Moon has a way to make you deal with it. I'm going to say that again. When these events happen, the moon has a way of putting things in your face, making you deal with it. So, would you rather deal with it on your own terms, or would you rather get hit or blindsided? I'll leave that question for you to ponder and think about. So a lot of skeletons, a lot of secrets can come up from the surface. This is definitely a theme. It may be seductive, but also too, it may be lower. It may be lower chakra stuff as well. So don't be surprised if root chakra also second and third chakra, lower chakra issues may come up. You may have the root, sacral, and even all the way up to the heart. So you're going to be affected by this. So that's something to be concerned with and also to know. And if you know, the more you know, the better you know, right? The more you can handle things better. So that's also very, very important as well. Now, also to, if you are someone that is not fully authentic and fully open, living life out loud, some things that are in the dark may come to light. So that's also a side effect of this particular lunar eclipse. So it's something for you to be careful about. So now you will have Sun, Venus, South Node is rebellious. Of course, you're going to have Aquarius opposite Moon. Now this is all going to be, for some of you, this is going to be over your head. So I'm not going to get super into that. But you could look up more of that through astrological means. Or if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. DM me or shoot me a message and I will be glad to help with that, with what I can. So, ultimately, you have to be the master of your own destiny. That's very, very, very important. Master or mistress of your destiny. So that needs to happen. So this is going to, basically, honestly, this is basically going to call you on your crap, really. This is what's going to call you on your crap. Now, let's talk a little bit about shadow work, because believe it or not, I'm actually a big fan of shadow work. Not because my name is Moonshadow, legit, but it's also because through shadow work, through darkness, that's when you see the light. A lot of times, I have gotten so inspired with doing shadow work, because sometimes for you to really truly see yourself, you really need to see the deep, dark, hidden parts of you. Some of it's not going to be very pretty. Well, thank you. Some of it's not going to be pretty. So, also with this lunar eclipse, it's going to remind you what's in the dark needs to eventually come to light. So you're going to need to figure it out. So if there's any kind of closure issues, any kind of issues with closure that you have with anyone or yourself, now is the time to get on it. Now is the time to do it. Now is the time to come to terms with it. And even though I'm not always I'm going to sound like the most interesting man for a second. I don't always do moon rituals, but when I do, they're big. But it's true. This one is a pretty sizable event. It's not going to happen for quite some time. I think I read somewhere, I think it was like the next 150 years or something. So this is also something for you to think about. It's going to shake the self. It's going to shake who you are. Oh, thank you, Anna. All right, man. Bless you, man. No worries. Great seeing you. So now, anything that is meant to come up, it's going to come up, and it's probably going to come up now. So this is also part of it. So now, okay, a big question that comes up, it comes up quite often with me, with people towards me, is can you manifest or work with moon energy being a Christian or a Catholic or a Protestant or agnostic? Well, you can pretty much, it depends on your belief system. You know, it really depends on your belief system, on what you believe is and how you look at it. You could look at things from a very scientific standpoint, too. There's a scientific method of doing ritual as well. So instead of God, instead of the All-Father, instead of the Creator, instead of Wankantanka, you say the great source, the source of all is, whichever it is. So can you still work with moon medicine and moon energy and still be one of God's children, one of God's organized religious children? Of course you can. It's not necessarily a rigid type of thing. So now, I myself am about adaptability. However, it is up to you, your view, and how you perceive your connection and relationship to all that is, the great I am, the great Father, the great source, the source that all is. Fill in the blank there. So it's really up to you. But ultimately, it doesn't matter if you're younger, it doesn't matter if you're older, it doesn't matter if you... It doesn't matter. You can apply it, flavor it to your taste in your life. So I will... It's fact. You know, just as a matter of fact, I'm an Interfaith Minister, but I also do shamanic work, but I'm also a Reiki master. You know what I mean? And I also am much more spiritual than anything else. So I've done ritual and I've been in covens, but I've also done clergy work in other ways and actually officiated a wedding. So it really is up to you on what labels you choose, or how you choose to label yourself, or if you even have a label. I don't really have labels. I'm using them for the sake of understanding. But really, other than that, I'm just me. I just do stuff. You know? Okay, so now how does this shadow thing work? How does the shadow thing work? Well, okay. Working with shadow work. One of the big things with shadow work is this. Is you could do it with many, many different situations. You could do it through meditation. You could do it through prayer. And I'm going to touch base on a few different ways of doing it. If you choose to do it through the spiritual religious sect, you can go through prayer. You can also use affirmations. You could do dream work, where you have a dream journal or a notepad by your bed. Could be a piece of paper, whichever it may be, one of those legal pads, whatever it is, and put it by your bed before you go to sleep. Now, if you go to do dream work, shadow work via the dream journey, what you do is you have a notebook on the side of your bed, and then at that point, before you go to sleep, not when you're right going to sleep, you want to be able to get the sentence out, or the affirmation out, or the thought out. But what you do is, half hour before you lay down and go to bed, you say, okay, I'm going to be focused on anything that needs working on, anything that needs to be purged, anything that I need to focus on. I would like for my guides, angels, fill in the blank, or my higher self, if you're more scientific, to bring information for me to help with my shadow work. So you could do that. When you get up in the morning, what you do is, before you even fully get up and get out of bed, you reach over, you grab that piece of paper and pencil, crayon, spray paint, burnt stick, whatever it is that you have handy, and write down keynotes, write down anything that comes to mind, doodle. If you're an artist, draw it, draw symbols, whatever it takes for you to get those things down on paper. Why? Because as soon as your digestive system kicks in, as soon as you are fully awake, 99.9% of your dream state is going to be gone. And once you pee, it's all over. Once you have coffee, now you're fully conscious and you're no longer as lucid as you were just when you're kind of groggily waking up. That is the time for you to write that down. So that's doing that through dream work. You can do shadow work through the dream, through a dream journal, and through sleeping, and letting your subconscious assist you to get that information out. Now, also, too, what you can do when you're looking at shadow work, you could see at things that you're not necessarily happy with about yourself. There are good and... I don't even want to say that. There are so many different aspects. There are two aspects. There's the yin and the yang aspects of everything. So when you're working with shadow work, if there is something, a particular trait in you that you don't necessarily like, for example, let's say the trait of being argumentative. Not a very good trait, right? Well, if you flip on the other side of argumentative, that could also be someone that's driven. You could be driven in a positive way. You could be driven in a negative way. You could be driven to be, philanthropic. You could be driven to be an egotistical ass. Driven is driven. It's all about the intention, right? So now, in working with shadow work, you could also meditate. So if you're not doing it with working through the dream journal method, you could also meditate. Now, what you do with that, it's not a difficult. It's all about just breathing and allowing whatever to come up and bubble up. And this is a perfect time with this blood moon, supermoon, and lunar eclipse. Things are going to come up for you. They're going to bubble up. And when they do bubble up, make awareness. Be aware of it. Make note of it. And go, ooh, wait a minute. Ooh, I don't like that. It could be an old memory that comes up. You might, ooh, wait a minute. Oh, I didn't like that. Well, it's bringing up, Grandmother Moon's bringing this up for you for a reason. Right? But see, there you go. So you could be argumentative and you can get stuff done too. So it all depends on your intent and what you choose to do. If you choose to be argumentative and debate and combative, well, that might not necessarily be a good thing. But if you're taking on things in the sense of wanting to make things better, social activism, things like that, bringing things to awareness, i.e. like the Me Too movement, like people using Time's Up, the hashtag Time's Up, a lot of like Black Lives Matter. All these things are because people want to bring awareness. So they're using that energy, that powerful energy, to bring awareness to the world and make people accountable for what they're doing. So, something to think about. Also, too, straight up prayer. And again, too, also, too, with this supermoon, it may bring up conversation. And just be aware of, try to be more mindful in how you communicate. Because if you go full boat, you go full done, you're there, full power, you maybe need to be a little more mindful about how you deliver said message, because it can cause a lot of not so great conversations. So I say this whether it's a full moon, blue moon, black moon, lunar eclipse, whatever. If you're going to say something that's not nice, think 5 to 10 seconds before you say it, because you cannot unring that bell. So if I got to go ahead and say something really ugly, 10 seconds later, it's not going to be as ugly, because you've taken the edge off of it a little bit. So anything said out of anger may or may not be the truth. So be aware. Be aware of that as well. So now here we go. Now we're going to get into, now any of the questions, feel free to just throw them in the chat. I'll be glad to answer them to the best of my ability. Even I am not completely, at Yoda status. So if I have to look things up or go deeper into thought, I can do that. Exactly. So now also too, this is also a time of Imbolc. Now Imbolc's for all the pantheists, all the pagan folk out there, all you earthy crunchy folk. It's also Imbolc. So I don't have to really fill you in too much on that, but we're gonna talk about that a little bit. So now it's very much within the Celtic Irish tradition. Now, also too, many different traditions brought it about too. You have the Romans also brought in the winter solstice in the spring equinox, and this also was the season of Lupercalia. All right. So now, what they usually did was they held a purification ritual usually in February. Now this is what the Romans did, and they would be working with the temples, and that's right, St. Bridget's Day. And they would also be working on purification of a lot of things as well. Now also focused on the city of Rome and by the twins Romulus and Remus, which were suckled by the she-wolf in a cave. And that's why it's called Lupercal. So this is also part of Imbolc. You know what I mean? It's like different perceptions of a similar thing. People made it their own as they moved along. Now, also too, even the ancient Egyptians also celebrated this time of year. It was called the Feast of Nut, whose birthday falls on February 2nd. And according to the Book of the Dead, Nut was seen as the mother figure to the sun god Ra, who of course is the head cheese in the Egyptian realm. It's Odin, just from a different standpoint. And she was also portrayed as a nude woman covered in stars and is positioned above her husband Geb, which is the earth god. Okay. So now, this is what happens. Now, Christianity, of course, we know is predated. And a lot of pagan things kind of came into the Christian faith. This is my body, is my blood. Pagan. Christmas. Pagan. And I've mentioned before, but actually Santa Claus, or St. Nicholas, also is considered the green man, or the man of the forest. Look it up. So now, when Ireland decided to convert to Christianity, it was hard to get people to give up their gods. Okay, that was a given. It was a big, huge, massive endeavor to bring the heathens and the savages. Now, mind you, this is not judgment. I happen to be one of those heathen savages that talked to the Great Father while out in the woods, out in my yard. Just recently I saw a bunch of pheasants on my street. So, nature, if God made us, God made nature. They wanted to convince people to get rid of their old gods. So, of course, what they did was they allowed them to worship the goddess Bridget. Now, Bridget, she became a saint, of course, because they had to do something, and then she became St. Bridget's Day. Okay, so now there are many churches that will bear her name. St. Bridget of Kildare is one of Ireland's patron saints, and she's associated with early Christian nuns and abbess, as well as they're not sure if she's a real person. So there's that. also is the Feast of Purification of the Virgin. This is also coming up with spring and the harvest. Now, it's a little dusty. This is from a long time ago. They made these, and this was to commemorate Saint Bridget of the harvest. So this is something that I've had this for eons when I was an HP in an eclectic coven. So there you go. But that was, and yes, I'm surprised I still have it. But yeah, harvest. There's also a very maternal energy there. So with this supermoon and the lunar moon, the blue moon, blood moon, and this lunar eclipse, a lot of maternal energy may bubble up, and that is going to be a big deal too. So coming up to HP, Harry Potter? No. High Priest. I know you're joking. So, I know, a lot of information, right? So much I need to take notes. I have to take notes. Now, going from that point, from there, there's going to be, and it comes up to the beginning of spring. New beginnings are coming up too. So this is where not only can you do shadow work, but you can also do other work as well. You can manifest and bring things in. You can affirm new things into your life as well. So once you've done your shadow work, once you've done the things that you've purged things, you've decluttered your spare room, you've done that, you could then at that point move things into the realm of bringing in something new. So if you didn't like the furniture in that spare room, now it's time to consign that old furniture, maybe find some new stuff. So now once, again, like anything, a full vessel, if you have a full cup, if it's full, you can't fill it anymore. You just got to overfill it, right? So you need to empty it. So in this time of year, during this huge event, you can go ahead and empty the vessel. You can get rid of what no longer works for you. And then at that point, you can fill it with good juju. You could fill it with good aspirations. You could think of new things for spring. You can look at bringing more plants into your house. You can look at a lot of that. So if you have any type of situation or any kind of thing that has affected you in a bad way, now's the time to get rid of it and make new. A lot of, actually, even tonight, I busted my tripod, my go-to tripod, so I'm using my secondary. So repairing and replacing, that's also a time, unfortunately, of this time frame and this time zone and this event also as well. Now, for many Christians, February 2nd will be continued to be celebrated as Candlemas, which is the Feast of Purification of the Virgin. So with them, it took 40 days after birth for a woman to be cleansed following the birth of a son. And of course, 40 days after Christmas, the birth of Jesus is February 2nd. You can sort that out amongst yourselves. Yeah, fact. There are thoughts involving the fact that Jesus was actually not born. A lot of deities, now this is something where I hate to, spoiler alert, a lot of deities were born around Christmas. Their origin stories, very much, even the Christian faith came up from the Mithra, from the origin of Mithra. Google it, look it up, and you'll find a lot of similarities there. But the thing is this, though. To me, it's not so much that, it's all about your faith and your connection to Source, your connection to Spirit. To me, that's the most important thing. Doesn't matter how you worship. It doesn't matter it really depends on who you are as a person and how you choose to connect with the great, with the great spirit, with the source, with Wakantanka, with all that there is, with the great source, whichever, again, fill in blank. So now, trying to get through winter, yeah, right? So now spring, big, huge thing. Spring coming up, it's all going to be new beginnings. So now this is giving you the opportunity to kind of do the winter cleanse, do that because it will gain and give you more impetus, give you more energy, give you more motivation to do that, and be prepared for spring. So once you clear out that space, whether it be inner within yourself or outer in the physical realm, you're going to find yourself to be able to have more room for bigger and better things. And that would be really important, wouldn't it? I want more room for good things. It's been really, really cold. Thank God it's warmed up here a bit in the East Coast, so it's not frigid below minus degrees like it has been. I know my students in South Korea still suffering immense cold snaps to the level of -17, -20 Celsius, which is hugely cold, freezing. This is like body parts falling off, freezing. So though, okay, now of course, Imbolc is very, very rich in folklore and history. So the Celts celebrated the early version of Groundhog Day in Imbolc as well, with a serpent singing this poem. Now I don't know the poem. I don't know the sound or the melody of the poem, but in fact, I'm never going to try to pronounce it. I thought twice. Management decision. It's okay. But among agricultural societies, this was the time of year for the preparation of the spring, which they use with lactate, hence the term use milk, or omlek, which was also another term for the season as well. So underground chambers align perfectly with the rising sun in Imbolc. So now let's talk about the goddess Bridget for a little bit longer. Now you have Imbolc is a Celtic connection, and it wasn't celebrated in non-Gaelic Celtic societies. The Irish goddess Bridget is the keeper of the sacred flame. Now that could also be translated to Kundalini, the Kundalini or the primal source as well. And that's the guardian of home and hearth. And that's one of the reasons why I have a St. Bridget cross as well, for protection of the home. To honor her, we purify and cleanse, and also get ready for the coming of spring. Also to have a fire. She's also connected to inspiration and creativity. Therefore, also manifestation. So if you look at that, creativity and inspiration, this is the whole thing of shadow work, get rid of, and then bring back the new. So that's really important. So let's see here. So also in modern paganism, Bridget is viewed as part of the maiden mother crone cycle. So she walks the earth in the eve of the day before going to bed. She should leave a piece of clothing outside Bridget to bless. And then, of course, when you get up in the morning, look for the mark in the ashes, a sign that Bridget has passed on the way of the morning. The clothes have brought inside and now have power of the healing. So now, whatever you choose. Now we're gonna summarize here a bit. Now, yes, we spoke about Bridget is something where it's incredibly powerful because it doesn't happen every day. So not only is this a major lunar event, you have a blue moon, you have a blood moon, you have a super moon, which we have two, coming up. And also, too, you have the perfect opportunity to shed, purge, work on your shadow self, and start to bring in the new. As you bring in the new, brand new self, who you are, it will also come in with the thaw into spring. So taking a look at that, it's really, really important to, now let's just say, you know what, it's too much work. Too much work. Okay. I'll give you an easy peasy method. You could work on a list that you want to work on your shadow self. That's another technique you can use. You go ahead and write in what you no longer need, what you want to purge within yourself. You could also write down physical things as well. I'd like to clean my house. I would like to, go through my shed, whatever it may be. And then what you can do at that point, then once you do that, you make that list and you put that list aside. And then you go ahead and you make another list, a separate list. And the list of what things you want to bring in, what things you want to affirm, what things you want to manifest. And be specific. Be as specific as you can. And visit and, really sit there with that energy. Same thing with the list that you're purging, your purging list. Sit there with those things and feel that you want to get rid of them. Ultimately, you choose whether you choose to let go of it or not. Because a lot of times people, welcome back. A lot of times people choose not to let go of things. And if they don't let go of things, then no amount of purging is going to completely let go of it. You let it go in like little installments until you finally decide to be done with it. So ultimately, intention is really, really important part of this shadow work, this manifestation, this affirmation of getting rid of and bringing in new things. So now, once you have those two lists going, then once you're done, and you will know when you're finished because you will feel that energy. You'll feel that you'll feel lighter, or you'll feel that with the list of things you want to affirm or things you want to bring in, you're going to feel a feeling of contentment or some start of that. With the purging or the shadow work list, you're going to find yourself feeling more empty, more like drained, even possibly tired. At that point, you get a flame-resistant bowl. You can utilize, now I usually use holy water, as blessed holy water, as well as sage to start the circle or to open the ceremony or to start the ritual. So a little prayer, bringing all ancestors and all totems and all life protectors, all angels, and then cleansing the space. You have these two lists. So once you have these two lists, you focus on the purge one first, because that's really, really important. You're getting rid of, you're emptying the vessel before replacing things in. So then at that point, you think of it, you read it through. If you're in a household where you can't necessarily read things aloud, or you don't want people to know what you're doing, then what you can do is you read it through silently. You could read it through in your mind, but with major connection, with major energy. Put your energy in it. Be attentive to it. Be mindful of it. Now, when you're done with that, at that point, you want to fold it. Now, depending on how big the piece of paper is, I tend to use smaller pieces of paper, or if it's a larger piece of paper, like a regular size paper, I fold it 8 times, because 8 times in the sign of affinity. So what I'll do is I'll fold that up, and then at that point, I light it into the flame resistant. Also, make sure, please, people, be safe. Don't get burned. Please. Also, don't do that around a smoke detector. Don't do that if you're wired to the fire department. If you're in an apartment, trust what I tell you. I've known people have done it. So don't. Only you can prevent house fires. That's a little Smokey the Bear, but. So yeah, so once you do that, you burn it down, it is now ash, right? So you burn it till it's ash. At that point, you empty the vessel and you put that aside. You put that ash into a paper towel or another vessel or whatever, but you have to make sure you remember which is which. Okay? It is, yes, bear is one of my major totems. So now you put that aside, and you can even put it on a piece of paper and say purge on it, just to remind you in case you get affected or you become lighter in losing thought, right? So now when you work with your affirming list, that's when you go ahead. You work on that, and then you focus on that, see it coming in, feel it coming in, no different than the purge. Feel it leaving your body, feel it leaving your life. Energy, if not more energy, into bringing things in. I'm not surprised. So what we do is, oh my God. So now, once you have the empty flame-resistant bowl, you now read through the affirmations and what you want to bring into your life, what do you want to manifest, and then you burn it down to ash. You put that separate as well. This is why you're separating them. Now, the stuff that you have purged, we don't want anymore, right? We want to get rid of it. So if you're nature-oriented like myself, what I usually do is I make a small hole, or I put it in the garden where there's no flowers. I just kind of make a small hole, put it there, and I kind of bury it and let Mother Earth take it. I let the energy dissipate. Now, with the good list, and then focus on that too. As you do that, you could go ahead and physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically feel that leaving your body, leaving your life. Now, this is all, it's a really big test of your mindfulness and your attention. Now, with this moon, it's going to give you more impetus. It's going to give you more drive for you to do this. So it's going to help you. So now, once you put it in the dirt and you bury it, you pat it down and just say a little prayer and affirmation above it, just to say, this is now no longer part of my life. It's history. It's gone. So must it be. Thank God. Whatever it may be, and it's gone. Now, you have the list that you burnt down that was to manifest things. So you take that list, and you can water it. Take care of that plant. Give it love and attention. So now as that plant grows and as that plant is alive, those ashes also help you. So that earth energy, that Gaia energy is also going to help you. So good Lord, I'm on 14%. So good thing I'm wrapping this up. So coming from that perspective, so once you do that, then you want to thank your ancestors, you want to thank your angels, you want to thank your life protectors, you want to thank your totems for being there and protecting you and keeping you from harm, and ask them to always be there to watch over you. Once you're done doing that, then you have the ability to let it all go. So then at that point, now I do one extra benefit too. Either before or after. It depends on my mood. Sometimes afterwards, take a nice soak in a shower or a tub. I usually take a shower prior to be prepared for the ceremony. That is additional if you choose to do or to do. That just adds in the energy of this event, of what you're doing, of this ritual, the ceremony. So we're at 14%, people, and my phone's going to die. However, I want to thank you all. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to thank you all for being here. You are all amazing. You inspire me to do this every week, and I'm here every week doing this for you, sharing this information that I have, and I appreciate every single one of you for doing that. Information, you can have them subscribe, hit the bell, and then they can also get this information and be notified when I'm live. Also, do follow me on all my social media, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and check out my website, moonphoenixrising.com or phoenixrisinghealingarts.com. So as always, as I say every week, be strong, be amazing, be you. Love and light to all. Take care. See you next week. Come on now. Gotta have a little bit of a blooper. Gotta have a blooper. Gotta have a blooper. That's what it is. I don't know. Let's see. Let's go this way. Let's go this route. There we go.